All right, here is your note session talking about the structure of Congress. A lot of the things that we talk about are committees and certain committees that are important within Congress. Um, so your objective here is to be able to explain some of the powers and just the functions of the different houses within Congress. And Congress men and women have a difficult job. Their approval rating usually drops after they get into office. Because, again, legislation will take a long time and people want stuff to get done now. They also rely a lot on focus groups, they rely on polls. In today's world, we're not sure how accurate those are. So, if you're looking at Congress today and you're looking at the House of Reps, so your larger House of Congress, what it looks like on the first day after the election when they take office, the clerk will call the chamber to order and check all the representatives, make sure they're there, kind of a roll call. Then they choose the Speaker of the House. Usually it's someone who is very influential, been there a long time, and will be of the majority party. The majority party being the political party, that has the most people. So then the Speaker of the House will take the oath, swear that person in, and then that Speaker of the House will swear the rest of the representatives in. Democrats take their seats to the right of the center, Republicans are to the left. Then they elect some officials, the clerk, surgeon at arms, administrative officers, and there's individuals that would be the chaplain. These are all individuals that are not House of Reps, they're just administrative type positions. Then they adopt their rules, and there's a lot of them in the House of Reps. These kind of govern the proceedings, what happens in debate, what happens for roll call, and things like that. Then they're assigned to their different committees. They're appointed to those committees and kind of voted in. And the Senate looks much different because it's much smaller, 100 individuals versus the 435 of the House of Reps. It's a continuous body, whereas the House of Reps is voted in every 2 years. Every representative is up for re-election. That seat is up for election every 2 years. The Senate, a third of them are up for election every 2 years, and they serve that 6-year term. It's very short. It's more routine. There's members that are in there, have been in there. The new members that just won an election are sworn in. The committees are filled up with those individuals, and that's about it. So when you talk about leadership, then currently, right now, your Speaker of the House is Paul Ryan. He has said he's not going to seek re-election in November, so there will be a new Speaker of the House, and that also will depend on the elections, depending on who's the majority party. Okay, so the Speaker of the House works with parliamentarian to determine the bill assignment. So the office of the parliamentarian provides the House with some guidance on rules and procedures. This is nonpartisan, so it doesn't matter what party. Again, the parliamentarian is appointed by the Speaker of the House. And this is kind of to help conduct business in a more consistent way, reliable way. The Speaker of the House also rules on motions, decides who gets to talk and who cannot talk. Again, 435 people in the House. There's a lot of individuals that want to say something. This person dictates who can say that. Also sets the floor schedule. So if there's a vote, it schedules that vote. You don't want to make him mad or her mad because they won't put your bill or your objective up for vote. Also has the duty of appointing individuals to committees. So we'll put people that he or she thinks are influential, will handle that responsibility in charge of those committees. Your majority leader then is the individual right below the Speaker of the House, unifies that party of the majority party, also helps schedule legislation. The minority leader then is someone that is the head of the party in the House of Reps, but for the opposite side, the minority party at the time. Whips are individuals that count votes. They put out fires. So there's a disagreement between party members. They're going to make sure that they have enough votes so they can put that bill to the floor and win that vote. They're trying to influence people as well. Here's a look at some of your past and current Speakers of the House. From left to right, Newt Gingrich, Dennis Hastert, Nancy Pelosi was your last Democratic Speaker of the House. John Boehner was the Speaker of the House, and then followed by Paul Ryan, who's also stepping down. So John Boehner stepped down, left office, and he's now working in a private corporation. Senate leadership, somewhat similar. Something that can be confusing in the leadership of the Senate. Your vice president, so currently Mike Pence, is the president of the Senate. If there's a tie, when they're voting on something, he will break that tie. However, he's often not in the Senate, so the individual that is responsible for the proceedings is the president pro tempore. So there's a question that could occur. Who is the president of the Senate? And you might want to say the individual that's majority party. It's the president of the Senate is the vice president. The individual that presides when the vice president is not there is the president pro tempore. You also have your majority leaders, again, of the majority party, spokesman for the party, leads the party, guides legislation, also guides the discussion on how they're going to vote. There's the majority whip, again, doing the same thing in the House of Reps, enforces loyalty, try to monitor the opinion of individuals. Then there's also the minority leaders and the minority whip. Conference chairman then leads meetings of all party members in each chamber, organizes talking points, manages media presence. So again, if you look at the presiding officers, presiding officer, president pro tempore, serves in the absence of that vice president, the president of the Senate, elected by the Senate himself, always a member of the majority party. If you look at, there's individuals like Robert Byrd, who was the longest-serving senator in the history of the Senate. Strom Thurmond from 1954 to 2002 served and often was your presiding officer. Within their leadership, there's also different groups in Congress. Okay, there's what is known as a caucus. These groups ally for different purposes. There could be whether it's maybe on defense spending, nuclear power. It could be the Black Caucus, for example. These individuals, maybe there's like a Tea Party caucus where it's very super conservative, looking at maybe different geographic locations, agriculture. They unite, they meet together, they vote together on certain issues. When you're looking at committee chairpersons, they are set again by your party leaders. So all the chair people will be of the majority party. Seniority helps, and they get some of those very important chairs. Foreign Affairs, Ways and Means deals with the budget and spending money. The individuals that are new to the House or new to the Senate, they'll be on things like Small Business Committee or Veterans Affairs, committees that aren't as deemed important or looked at by the media. And there's also committees like the Oversight, so they're doing investigations and making sure some people in the executive branch are doing their job. There's also, again, they've become more powerful in this 1970s because they were more in the public eye. But today have kind of lost some of that power, not as significant. However, they can still use their roles as committee chair people to not pass laws or craft laws that would help their cause. There's a couple videos here that are in schools if you'd like to watch them, talking about seniority rules. So the idea that individuals who have been in the House or Senate longer usually get these leadership roles. Oftentimes, The majority leader will put people into positions, leadership roles of committees that they don't really have experience on. They will put them there to either make sure they block legislation from happening or just to give them a role because they've been in the House or Senate long enough. So, your different types of committees. House members always serve on two committees. Senators serve on two major committees, and there's then one minor committee. Again, they are selected by the majority party for the chair leaders, the chairman. The lead committee member of the minority party is selected by a secret ballot, and they are called the ranking member. The four types of committees: standing permanent committees based on a specific subject. They are always there. They're always assigned that, and they are constantly working on bills and legislation. Select committees created for maybe a limited time, a certain scope or purpose. For example, the House Select Committee on Energy and Independence. They're maybe doing some research and trying to craft up a certain bill based on energy. So they create a special committee with some individuals that have maybe some expertise just to work on that bill. A joint committee, House and Senate members serve on, whether it's taxation, printing. It's a committee that's always around and always has members of both sides. Then there's the conference committee. This is a committee that comes together when there's a bill passed in one house, also passed in another house. So a bill passes in the House of Reps, also passed in the Senate, but they're a little bit different. They have to resolve the differences because the bill has to look the same. Then they'll go back within the conference committee, they'll revise it, resolve those differences, create one version, re-vote on them, and then send it to the president. Committee hearings are also very important. Committees review all the bills assigned to their expertise. Again, so individuals will come in front of the committee, testify in a sense, and discuss why this is important, why this should be passed, or why not, and have maybe some data, some research behind those things. Most times, bills, ideas die in the committee, and sometimes people are there to do that, to prevent legislation from happening. Here's another video, an example. Stephen Colbert was actually asked to testify on behalf of migrant workers and some of the legislation that is not in place or is in place that doesn't help migrant workers. This is also in Schoology. Okay, so here's kind of where the real work happens in the House. There's a list there, your Armed Services Appropriations Committee. It deals with the budget, actually being able to give different programs money. That's a very important one. The Ways and Means deals a little bit with money, but also the rules of the House. And here's a list of the committees. Again, there's similar ones, the appropriations in the Senate. They don't have as many rules, so the Rules Committee isn't as important. There's one on health and education, Homeland Security. And then you look at some of the agencies that actually help Congress. Congressional Research Service, they go and do historical research for members of Congress, and this is all free. Again, advantage to the incumbents, especially during election time. When they're running, they want some history behind a law or legislation, voting patterns, something like that. All these people will do the work for them for free, while someone that's running against them has to pay people. Congressional Budget Office provides nonpartisan advice. What will it look like if we pass this bill? How much will we have to spend? What will it do? Do we have to raise taxes? Again, an advantage to the incumbents. So incumbents, again, individuals that are in office seeking re-election. General Accountability Office, it's kind of a watchdog. Make sure your money is being spent wisely for those taxpayers. And then the Printing Office provides printing services to the U.S. Congress. They stay out of the news. They print just items for U.S. Congress. Again, incumbents probably will use this office to send out mail, during their election time periods.